Locked and loaded guns and ammo giveaway, only at Highwinds.
20 years, honestly, congratulations to you all, really well done.
Now at 9, we'll meet a Carthage teacher who's giving the ultimate gift to a retired co-worker. Plus, how a Pitt State professor is using a cemetery to teach students about history. And the Caney Valley School District is making changes to accommodate the city's water crisis.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Tanya Bach. The verdict is in from a Jasper County murder trial in a case where an argument ended with a gunshot. Jurors today took less than 30 minutes to find Damian Fisher guilty of second-degree murder and armed criminal action in the March 2022 death of Scotty Roller of Neosho. Authorities say the two got into an argument over the purchase of a vehicle in Joplin. Prosecutors say Fisher took a handgun out of his waistband and shot Roller in the back as he was fleeing. Authorities say Fisher and his father then disposed of the body by hiding it in a well at a property in Newton County. Damian Fisher will be sentenced at a later date. Eddie Fisher, Damian's father, previously pleaded guilty to abandonment of a corpse and receiving stolen property. Eddie Fisher is serving 7 years in prison. Well, Chief Meteorologist Doug Hetty joining us with a first look at your forecast.
Yeah, it turned out to be another great day for us today, even though we've had some clouds kind of rolling through and a few random sprinkles, but Joplin, also Pittsburgh, looking pretty good at this point in time. Cooling down a bit, you got the 40s and then 50s and still 60s where that front is. You can see that kind of wind shift line right across southwestern Missouri, and with it we have the clouds and a few light little showers along and south of I-44, but are quickly going to work out of here, and then we look pretty good as we go through the overnight hours tonight. Mainly just sprinkles, Benton County, McDonald County, Berry County as well. So through the night, we clear out 58 by 11, 47 by 7 a.m. That should be our low. Sunshine in the morning. Temperature rebounds back to about 59 degrees. We're going to look into high school football, the weekend, next storm system, all coming up here in just a bit.
All right, thanks, Doug. Caney Valley schools are moving to a 4-day schedule starting Monday, October 30th, as a water crisis continues. According to the district release, the district is making other changes to help conserve water usage. That includes no showers at the school and consideration of a modified sports schedule for the remainder of the semester. The drought in southeast Kansas caused the water issues for Caney in both 2023 and 2022. A Carthage junior high educator is teaching more than math to her students this semester. Nicole Rankin is donating her kidney to the district's retired librarian, Betsy McCrary, giving an example of selflessness. But this is not the first time this has happened in the district. KOAM's Fernanda Silva has their story.
I hate to sound like it was such an easy choice, but I think it comes from my parents. My parents are very service oriented, and so I think that's why they didn't actually make that big of a deal out of it. They were like, oh, you're donating a kidney, that's great. They were excited for me, they were glad I'm doing it.
The decision of donating one of her kidneys came when the math teacher heard about special ed teacher Jason Rural being in need of a transplant. But he was not the only person in the district needing the organ.
I told her that if my kidney didn't work out for Jason, then she could have my kidney. And we laughed about it and we hugged, and then 2 years later, here we are.
The person Nicole is referring to is former librarian Betsy McCrary. While Jason and Nicole were not an ideal match, Nicole and Betsy were a perfect one. Now, from her 8th grade students, Nicole gets questions.
I guess they ask why. They ask why I'm doing it. And
what is the answer for that?
What I tell them is that I have 2 healthy kidneys. Betsy needs a healthy kidney, so why would I not just do it?
Being the one needing a healthy kidney 2 years ago, Jason knows the relief Betsy will soon feel.
Before I was living life, but now I'm living my best life due to the transplant, so it's been pretty amazing.
Jason ended up receiving his kidney from another teacher from the school district, Chelsea Abboud. Well, for Jason, Chelsea and Nicole are heroes.
Everyday hero comes with just stepping out of your comfort zone and doing something for someone else.
For Nicole, it's just a mere help to a friend.
I'm helping her have a better quality of life, but yeah. Yes, helping with quality of life.
In Carthage, Fernanda Silva, KOAM News.
The Carthage schools hosted a luncheon to commemorate the story and provide financial support to both Nicole and Betsy. Their surgeries will happen October 31st, and we wish them a speedy recovery. The Joplin Fire Department today received a grant from the Missouri American Water. The grant is part of more than $55,000 awarded to 47 Missouri fire departments and emergency response organizations. Utility company provides annual critical funding to Missouri fire departments and emergency organizations in the company's service areas.
It's absolutely vital with October being Fire Prevention Month. We're utilizing the grant funding we're getting from this grant to resupply. We're buying some new puppets for the puppet shows that we put on for the schools. We're also buying educational materials that we'll be handing out.
Missouri American Water is investing about $450 million this year to improve reliable water service, which is critical for fire protection. Well, firefighters in Girard, Kansas put out more than just fires. Turns out they're also putting out some great stories. The Girard Fire Department hit the public library today for story time. And just in case a great story didn't capture the minds of the young well enough, they also brought out firefighting equipment and a fire truck.
It's good. It feels good to reach out to the kids. You know, sometimes when you approach them in a fireman's outfit, they get scared. But for us here, just talking with them, showing them, hey, we're just an everyday person, out of our uniform. But when we dress up, we're not to be scary. But just to kind of educate them and, about fire prevention, fire safety.
The Girard Public Library is at 174 South Osage Street. Well, cemeteries impact the community by not only being a place of rest, but also providing a glimpse into the past. KOAM's Amber Jenkins continues her look at 4 state cemeteries with a visit to 2 of them in Pittsburgh.
Still get a lot of requests from families out of state to bring the remains to be buried where they're from, be back in their community for their final resting place.
The City of Pittsburgh Parks and Recs Department is proud that Mount Olive Cemetery serves the community by offering a peaceful and beautiful resting place. The natural beauty is maintained by a local landscaping company that the city is thankful for.
The landscape maintenance and stuff, depending on the season, grass, it's probably anywhere from $10,000 to $20,000 a month to maintain the cemetery to this high of standard.
A Pitt State history professor, Dr. Chris Lawson, says cemeteries near campus not only serve the community, but academia as well. She takes her students to Highland Cemetery south of campus and documents the headstones to share online.
This semester we took 130 pictures that were untaken in the past, and 13 of them had been specifically requested by relatives or descendants. And that's rewarding. It's fulfilling to do that.
Keeping history alive not only means keeping cemeteries tidy, but also remembering the stories that make the community what it is today.
Each one of these people here had a story, and they had people they left behind. And it's good to make those connections year-round, not just at Halloween.
Reporting in Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Some Mount Olive and Highland Cemetery graves date back to the mid-1800s. Well, coming up, as more pharmacy chains close nationwide, we look at the growing problem of pharmacy deserts. You may have heard of the term food desert before. It refers to an area with limited access to affordable food products. But now pharmacy deserts could become a growing problem, with many large drugstores nationwide shuttering locations. Fox News' Ted Linder takes a look at the potential health impacts and who could be hit the hardest by vanishing pharmacies.
Ongoing staffing shortages at drugstores nationwide are leaving fewer pharmacists working behind the counter. The problem comes as several pharmacy chains have also been closing hundreds of their locations across the country. Some medical experts say it could be a recipe for disaster. Rite Aid, the nation's third largest standalone pharmacy chain, recently filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy on Sunday.
Their profit margins have been squeezed both in the pharmacy by the insurance companies and the other payers, but also in the front of the store by labor costs, by higher rent, by higher utility costs.
As Rite Aid navigates the bankruptcy proceedings, the drugstore could close hundreds of underperforming locations. Last month, the Wall Street Journal reported Rite Aid suggested shuttering 400 to 500 stores.
They probably will close a few hundred stores over the next 1 to 2 years.
Research from the National Institutes of Health finds pharmacy closures can trigger health risks. For example, it can make it difficult for older people to get their medications. It can be especially problematic when drugstores in rural towns and low-income neighborhoods with fewer services shut down. But it's not just Rite Aid. In 2021, CVS said it planned to close 900 locations by 2024. Walgreens also announced in June it plans to shut down 150 stores in the U.S. Meanwhile, data from management consulting firm McKinsey & Company reveals the number of independent pharmacy locations plummeted by roughly 50% from 1980 to 2022. Ted Linder, Fox News.
New research from Rutgers University shows adults with ADHD are 3 times more likely to develop dementia. The study followed 100,000 adults for nearly 2 decades, finding even when other risk factors are taken into account, adult ADHD is associated with significantly higher dementia risk. The findings suggest an ADHD treatment may reduce that elevated risk. Well, it appears those who hit the snooze button, in fact, do not lose sleep. And that's according to a new Swedish study that looked at adults who use intermittent alarms to get in a few more minutes of sleep in the morning. The data shows some participants who were able to snooze for 30 minutes or more had improved cognitive tests compared to those who woke up abruptly. But we should point out, while snoozing may have some benefits for the snoozer, it's likely an annoying habit for any non-snoozing partner. I use the snooze button every morning. Well, Doug is next with a complete look at the forecast. And later, the Neosho Wildcats may be moving athletic conferences. Sports Director John Dales will break it all down.
Well, it turned out to be another nice day for us today. Plenty of sunshine during the morning hours, and then the clouds snuck in during the afternoon into the evening hours as a weak cold front has been working through the region. But still, temperatures pretty good. 76 for a high, above our average high of 70. Sunrise now almost 7:30. Sunset at 6:37. Remember, just in a couple weeks, we drop back an hour, so that means the sun would be setting at 5:37. All right, here's our weak system spinning across parts of Wisconsin. Most of the energy is going across the Great Lakes, but you can see it trails a line of clouds. Some very light showers with a cold front, so very light showers and sprinkles have been kind of pushing through. Still, we have a few little sprinkles out there along and south of Interstate 44. Besides that, we look okay. We are cooling down a bit. We're in the 40s, Yates Center, Neodesha, Chanute, and Iola. Then you hit the 50s, and then this line right here is our front. You jump back into the 60s, and there is cooler air behind this front, but it's not cold. So I still think we're going to warm up quite a bit for us tomorrow. Probably right around 70, 71 degrees, which is pretty close to where we should be for this time of the year. All right, 62 right now. Dew point of 47, so that's a pretty good indication of where we're going to end up later on tonight. North winds at about 10 miles per hour. Watch the wind shift line shift through over the past couple hours. That's our weak cold front that is working through the area. Looks okay right now. We do still have a lot of clouds, but we're going to clear out as we go through the overnight hours. Nice shot, indigo sky, casino and resort. Through the overnight hours, we clear out, drop into the 40s. Overnight low of 47, back to 57 by 10 a.m. Let's work through your next 48 hours. Everybody upper 40s during the morning hours. Clear skies, partly sunny skies, a few clouds skirting through tomorrow. Mid 60s by noon. Most of us top out. 71 in Carthage, 73 in Miami, Parsons, up to about 75 degrees. Tomorrow night, we drop back upper 40s again, so very similar to what we are going to see tonight. And then as we go into Friday, it looks pretty good. We're going to warm up even more as we go into the mid to upper 70s, even pushing 80 out across our western counties. So if you like these temperatures we've been seeing, we're going to continue to see them over the next few days. All right, 9 a.m., 54, 68 by 1, 71 by 5 p.m., so a great day. Let's jump into Friday night. We got high school football, another week of pretty good football weather. Temperatures dropping back through the 60s during the game. 71 tomorrow, 76 Friday, 75 on Saturday, 76 on Sunday. Then we get rain chances sneaking in Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, really all of next week. So in our second half hour, we're really going to focus on those next bigger storm systems moving in for us next week.
It's nice that we have a little dry stretch, though.
Yeah, it's going to be really nice over the next few days.
Yeah, and then we get the rain.
There you go.
All right, well, coming up, falling further behind.
American families are struggling to store their money away. I'm Jerry Willis with Fox Business. As the spending rises, the savings are falling. That's coming up. American families are struggling to store their money away. I'm Jerry Willis with Fox Business. As the spending rises, the savings are falling. That's coming up. American families are struggling to store
Despite rising prices and higher interest rates, consumers do not seem to be slowing down their spending. Fox Business correspondent Jerry Willis takes a look at how spending habits are affecting budgets.
Americans are back to doing what they do best, spending money. Retail sales for the month of September came in twice expectations, rising 0.7% last month, higher for the sixth straight month. But you have to wonder why. Consumers face considerable headwinds. Inflation rose 3.7% for the 12 months ended in September, while current mortgage rates closed in on 8%. Credit card delinquencies are at an 11-year high, and one economist now credits continuing strength in the jobs market.
I think that's really helping a lot of consumers stay afloat, despite all these really stiff headwinds that we're seeing from, a still elevated cost of living, interest rates rising, and even things like student loans starting up again.
Economists responded to the news by increasing their outlook for economic growth. Goldman Sachs raising its GDP estimate by 0.3 percentage point to 4.0%. That's the fastest growth in 2 years. But there could be a hangover. Savings rates appear to be slowing. According to a new ranking of the world's retirement systems, the U.S. received a C+ based on Social Security and 401ks. And economist Brune says she sees early evidence that consumers earning $100,000 and more and Gen Zers are pulling back on spending. Bottom line, consumers aren't always predictable, and just because inflation continues and rates rise, well, that doesn't mean folks will stop spending. In New York, Jerry Willis, Fox Business.
Now, on the other side, Americans' net worth surged at a historic pace from 2019 to 2022. That's according to Federal Reserve data released today. The numbers are a reflection of the pandemic era's tremendous economic swings and the wealth generated from home ownership. Real median net worth swelled by a whopping 37% in 2022 from the pre-pandemic 2019 numbers. That's more than double the next largest increase on record. Well, job-based health insurance is a lot more expensive for companies and workers this year. Yearly premiums for family health insurance coverage at work soared to an average of nearly $24,000. That's according to KFF's Employer Health Benefits Survey and represents a 7% jump from last year. The average employee share of the annual premium came out to $6,575. That's a jump of almost $500 from last year, or nearly 8%. Up next, we'll learn what this year's top costumes are, according to Google. According to Google, the most popular Halloween costume this year is Barbie. The dolls come in all sorts of outfits, so a variety of costumes are available. Princess is the number 2 pick based on what Google calls its Frightgeist. Spider-Man takes 3rd. Other popular outfits include the traditional witch, cowboy, or ninja. And in a cross-holiday quirk, the 10th most popular costume is bunny. Okay. 30 more minutes of news, weather, and sports is coming your way. Coming up, with turkey hunting season canceled in Kansas, we'll hear from a sporting goods store about how hunters are adapting. Plus, how volunteers from Lowe's help clean up at a children's crisis center. Both Missouri and Kansas have made changes to the hunting season this fall. The biggest change is that Kansans will not have a fall turkey season. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
While the hope is that the decision to suspend fall turkey season in Kansas will help replenish population numbers, local businesses are taking a hit. The Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks says the reason for the suspension is due to declining turkey populations and that it is uncertain when the fall season will be reopened. Adam Gargaletti says the suspension of the season may help populations, but worries about what could happen in the spring and years to come.
What starts to worry me more than anything is talking about spring season being reduced, or now non-residents having to draw for spring hunting. Then again, I hate to look at the state as a whole because we're not. Southeast Kansas, our area is a lot more rich with game, fish, trees. We have a different environment than Pratt, Kansas, or west of Wichita.
Another part of Adam's worries is the fact that non-residents are attracted to Southeast Kansas for its hunting. Adam says that non-residents have a desire to hunt in Southeast Kansas. Many usually spend several days in the area, which can drive the local economy.
Yeah, I'm very concerned because since last Saturday, I've personally waited on 65 people that are going to South Dakota to go pheasant hunting, which is great. Good for them, good time. But I see the money going to other states rather than staying within our own state.
So while the population of a non-indigenous species may get restored, is such a plan sustainable for local businesses? Reporting in Pittsburgh, Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
And we will be talking to the Kansas Department of Wildlife and Parks next week to see what plans are in place to help restore numbers faster. We'll also bring you more information next week about the changes we're seeing this hunting season in Missouri.